Welcome back to my channel, guys. In this video I'm going to talk to you about the best types of games, the best style, and why they are the best in my opinion, what makes them the best. I'm going to break it down so you can know what makes a game great. All these games are going to be single player games. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Now for me, the god tier of video games, for me, I'm a big Fallout boy. I love the Fallout series. All the Fallout games have a place in my heart. After that, the Cyberpunk, amazing game masterpiece, and then Metro Exodus. All these games are considered open world RPG survival style games. But that's not what I'm going to be talking about in this video. That's a whole different genre. I'm going to be talking about something considered immersive sims. Now, for some reason, I don't know why, but I love this genre of games. And I'm going to break it down to explain why I love them and what makes them great and why are they considered immersive sims. They need to follow a few simple rules. Now, let's get into it and break it down, starting with my first and favorite of all time. The Dishonored series is god tier. The gameplay and story is unmatched in my eyes. Okay, another good thing about games like this is the fact that you have a skill tree and you have powers and abilities which you could modify as you wish. For example, there's this ability right here called Blink. If I add Blink, and there's this ability called Fire Reach, they technically are the same ability. For example, this is Blink, which basically helps me reach areas that will be hard for me to reach. And this is Far Reach, which is basically the same thing. Different animation. Helps me reach areas I wouldn't normally reach. But I have the option to choose which one I want, and that gives me a sense of freedom on how I want to build my character. I have many options. I could go and have the ability to summon a swarm of rats, or I could have the ability to mind control people, possess their minds. I could have the ability to create a doppelganger of myself, a shadow self. You know, I have many ways to build the character, and maybe I want to build it really stealthy. Maybe I want to be really aggressive, you know? And the thing about this particular ability, as most of the games that are like this have a very similar ability. They usually have an ability that's like this to help you reach areas that you wouldn't normally be able to reach. But an extensive skill tree like this that gives you the freedom, I could stop time. It's just so good. Not every game has. Sometimes you just have a standard way that you just gotta fill everything up and there's no way to change it. Here I could choose and change my play style however I wish, and that's amazing because it affects the approach that I have at the end of the game. And by the end of the game, one of the things that these games also include is that you're basically OP. You're not a pushover. Like when you start, you're OP. You're almost at God mode. You have the ability to take out many enemies and be super overpowered, and it feels amazing in this world. You know, right now this is my new game plus, so everything transferred, and I even have more abilities that I could choose from, giving it more replayability, with just it's more chocolate covered candy on top. Now here's another example of an amazing skill tree.
Now this skill tree, on the other hand, instead of having a custom build to however you like, you get to unlock every single thing and completely fill everything up. So basically it gives you, by the end of the game, it gives you the feeling, like I said, the feeling of being super powerful, not a pushover. You're OP, you know, and there's so many options you could choose, because obviously you could only use a certain amount of skills in your controller pad. So you're gonna use one thing more than another thing. Depending on the situation, you'll probably switch it up if you want to do a more stealthy build. But as I was saying, there always seems to be a power, and in this case it's called Icarus. There always seems to be a power in game like this that helps you reach places. You know? And this is an example of, I could just teleport over here and take cover in the wall. And I could put an armor on. I could have an armor on, be completely armored for a situation. Maybe I want to approach more aggressively, or maybe I want to turn invisible. Maybe I want to turn invisible and just approach the situation in stealth. It gives you the options. You know, it has enough of variety. It has enough of variety. You could breathe in toxic air for longer. And you can see the vision of your enemies, where they're looking and where they're moving in the mini map. That games like this also have the option for that. Upgrading my hacking, different lethal approach for my arms, like this stun or this nano blade that I throw. It's just amazing. Here's another example of stopping time or slowing down time to better approach the situation. Here's the invisibility one, you know. Just the fact that they have amazing skill trees to make you feel more OP at the end of the game, more suitable to do different approaches. It's just amazing. Okay, here's another example of a skill tree. In this game, they took a more RPG-ish approach, but you also have the same ability. You can't have everything, but you could detailedly choose what skills you want for a particular build you want to do. Okay, in games like this, you have many options.
By half the people in the Empire.
For example, right now,
The fight if they find
I have to take off that windmill. I gotta turn it off, because if I don't turn it off, I can't pass through that electric wall. As you can see, he gets pushed into the wall and gets electrified to death. So I have many ways to approach the situation. And for example, in this one, I'm gonna go all out violence. So I'm gonna throw a decoy. Then I'm gonna approach these guys. I could go up here, pull the lever, and the wall is turned off. As simple as that. I took them all out. I had the choice to be stealthy or to go all out like I just did. I had a choice. That's the point. This is one of the features I love. One of the features I love about this game, I could go and play the whole level.
More Grand Guard soldiers, lapdogs for the Duke.
I could go out and play the whole level like this if I wish. And I could just keep going non-stop go straight.
No offense intended, but Adderline Station. This should take me out to the Institute.
And go all out. And the thing about this is that it's actually an option. I could do this, and it doesn't break the story, it doesn't break the game. It's just a different approach.
Hey, where do you think you're going? I'm not going anywhere. Can't escape.
Right now I gotta heal. It's just a different approach. And obviously this approach will have consequences that will be revealed later that affect the world. But that's just the cherry on top of games like this.
Maybe I can drag the Duke of Serkonos through one of these.
Right now, I'm basically at the end of the... Basically, I overwhelmed the power with all the rats right there. And I reached the carriage that I need to reach the end of the level. That's it, as simple as that. And that was an option. Now, as an example, I could approach the same
Someone is
area,
looking for me. It might pay to
the
be
same
discreet.
situation,
I warned you.
and play it in a completely different way. For example, I could go stealthy. And instead of turning off the windmill,
We're conducting a search for heretical artifacts.
What?
I could just choose a different path.
Listen, I only need-
This area
Avoid
is
all the
restricted on the authority
soldiers.
of the Abbey. No one is allowed inside.
That's, for example, if I want to do a more peaceful run where I don't kill, which is basically a
Face is
merciful
covered.
run.
The Grand Guard won't like that.
And now, for example, I could just approach the situation in a whole different angle. I don't even have to do anything to that guy. I could just go out through this window. And gotta make it to the same place, but with a whole different approach. And I do have many options to do that. For example, I could just climb up here and keep approaching it very stealthily. Just choose a completely different path for the same situation. And I could do that, and it won't break the game. It's made for this. It's made in a way where you could approach the situation any way you wish. Now right here, I'll slow down time for a bit, take this guy out, and I'm not killing him, I'm just making him unconscious. Take this guy out. And I'll just keep making my approach.
The carriage rails are electrified.
Just keep making my approach to the area where I need to get. No problem. I have many options. Right there's the train station I need to get to, and I could think and find a way in without getting caught and without killing. And that's an option, and that's what's amazing about games like this. Now, as an example of freedom of approach, I want to go in that apartment. I could, if I want to. So let's approach it. We're gonna approach it in a more hostile way. First, we'll hack this. Access granted. Now, I'll just pull my assault rifle. Actually, I'll go with a shotgun. Let's go all out. Open the door.
In the apartment, corner him.
And I'm in. I had to kill the guy. I came in and I possibly have to fight my way out. Unless I wait out for the timer. Eventually there'll be a timer. They're looking for me, or they're looking for the person who shot. Oh, what are you?
United States, a group of non-augmented citizens Montana. They claim
No, I
the
could
US
go all
government is
out
not doing enough to
violence
protect
and
the
get inside the apartment I wanted to, and I could
individuals.
come out this other way and escape or whatever I wish to do. That's just a way I could approach it, and I have the freedom to do so. Okay, now as an example, I could approach the same situation, but in another route. And I could go in this ventilation system over here, and there's the guy that I killed. I could just go in and non-lethally take him out, you know? Non-lethally, just knock them out, you know? The difference is that they're knocked out instead of actually being dead. I came in, I think it was just as fast and just as efficient, but there's just another option I could do, you know? Another approach. And I love that about games like this. Choose the freedom of choosing, the freedom. As a matter of fact, if I wanted to, I could come down this alley and find a way up this window and come into the window if I wished. It's just, I really appreciate the option, the freedom, you know? Okay, here's yet another example of a game that gives you freedom of approach. For example,
I better check it out. We got an agent now.
I could approach this going all out hostile. Restricted area. I come in, no problem. Go inside.
Don't mess with me. We're losing here. I'll hold them back.
Well, I haven't played this in a while. My aim is not great. Are we done? The option to slow time down, as usual, that these games have, to have better accuracy. And I'm in. I killed everybody. I took over the place. And I'm just in to the CMP roast factory. And that's just the way I could approach it. And now a different approach to the same situation. Instead of going in through the front door and facing all the soldiers, I could come down this side, avoiding these creatures if I can, because the world is alive, as I explained before. Approach this waterfall and find this hidden latch by the side, and obviously I have to explore to find this. And as you can see, I approached the place in a different, more stealthier way. Came in through the side and approached the same place, yet now I'm inside, and I did not have to face the soldiers, and I could keep approaching in a more stealthier way. Another thing that I really appreciate about games like this, not only the environments they have and is created for them, but the fact that the world, it's alive. The fact that people are living their lives within the world.
What ship is that out
There's things
there? You the
happening.
skipper?
The
There's
dreadful will.
criminal
No,
life.
it's
You could
not on the
listen into
register. Maybe
people's
one of the
conversations.
recent orders from Morris.
let's
You
give it a
know,
day or
things
two.
are actually
She's still
happening.
there,
The
I wouldn't
world,
let her walk past her
it's
friend.
actually alive. You could walk around and see how people live in this world, making it more immersive. Just little
Hello there.
details.
Blood flies are disgusting.
Little
this year.
details.
What's
Bartender cleaning
next?
the glass,
This
you
enough to
know.
make a man crazy.
The fact that you could be walking around and see how they live their lives or what they do and hear their story. Situations happen just by you approaching,
Give him a
and
chance
it's
to tell his side.
not related to the
Wasn't his
story
fault,
at
man.
all.
Sorry,
It's
every
just
now
the
and then one
fact
of
that
those
it makes the
grand
world
guard bastards
alive.
pulls
It's
his
an
stuff like
option.
that.
It's a
It's getting
thing
worse.
that I really appreciate
be
about
able to
games
help
like
you out.
this. It has
There's a stack of
a
cards
world.
no one's claimed.
It's alive.
That's adding
It's
more
really,
resistance.
really alive.
Never. Because it was
And things
Dropped
play
from
out
a boat. Loading up for freight.
like you could see
good
how
stuff.
people live their life, and I
Spices and
really
dried fish.
appreciate that.
Maybe
And
worth
it
more than
seems
what
like
you
not too
lost.
many games are made like
That's a
that.
good deal, Maya.
But
Oh, thank you, Ramus.
here's a situation right
Still
here.
not fair than just taking what was ours, but we appreciate what you're offering. If it's like you say, and we can find buyers, then it'll get us through the next month.
Good, good. Look,
Okay,
I
I
wish I
have
could've stopped
seen,
him.
I have
Just
seen
meet
the
me here again
situation
tomorrow,
before,
okay?
and it wasn't
time.
like this.
We'll be here.
This situation before, he basically started fighting these two guys and knocked them both out, and I just came here and saw the situation play out in a whole different way. And I wasn't even expecting that. That's amazing by itself. Now, as I was saying, in games like this, the world is alive.
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Oh, it's really simple. Zoom there, button there, hold and wait for the green light.
No problem.
Look at this. Look at the detail. I so appreciate a world that's
I always
worth
get a little
being
nervous
in.
when I go into the subway. I don't like the feeling of being trapped underground.
You worry about everything. I'm amazed you're willing to take any kind of train at all.
Like, look at everybody living their lives and everybody. Come on. I know something's gonna happen.
Hi there, stranger. My God. Look at you. I see living with mother has kept you well
Ma'am,
fed.
don't just stand there and look at me.
I'm here to find a job. How do I look?
Someone
I'm
at
glad to
work
hear you
came up
say
with the
that.
term nouveau
You'll recommend
pauvre.
me at the bank?
I don't care. But yeah, you gotta appreciate how the world is actually alive. Like, you're here. You're immersed in this fictional reality. And
I'm nervous about leaving the main street because I'm afraid of getting attacked. If it's any consolation,
and it
the
all
smaller
just
streets are less
complements
likely to
the
get hit by
environment, the
terrorist
world,
bombs.
how everything it just falls together so nicely. It's so well made, from the billboards to the little details, everything. The way they build their world is just so immersive and so amazing.
Bad enough when it was
It's
just
just
drugs.
candy, man. It's candy. Okay, here's yet another example of how a world is alive. Here I'm in this little rustic little town. There's
You'd
people.
think folks were pissing in the alleyways as bad as it stinks.
Oh, they are.
So that puddle I stepped in? That wasn't beer.
Yep, that wasn't beer. You gotta appreciate the little details. There's always rats in all these games too, for some reason. So there you go, guys. Those are some of my favorite games of all time. Games I consider God tier. The Dishonored series. You could see why I'm so captivated by it. Now, a lot of this has low quality because it's videos that I had saved for a long time and I re-edited and re-uploaded. So I apologize for the quality of the video.
But if you indeed made it this far, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe because you're awesome. But yeah, guys, games like Fallout, for me, games like Cyberpunk, and games like Metro Exodus, and in fact, the Metro series and the Fallout series, to me, is another type of game, but they're god tier in their own genre. Cyberpunk, it's on its own. Cyberpunk, for me, is very personal to how I like the world, I would like the world to be. Cyberpunk and me have a own relationship on its own. I enjoy how these worlds are created. I enjoy how these worlds play out in each and every one in their own special way. I love it all. I'm never gonna get tired of games like this. I'm always gonna vote for single player games above anything else. I'm always gonna choose single player games. The enjoyment you could have in a world by yourself, in a world you could actually be the most powerful, you could be the hero, you could be the villain, you could be whoever you want, and there's no live service, there's no players running your game, you don't have to compete. It's just plain old good old style gaming, like it's Super Nintendo putting in a cartridge back in the day and playing a nice single player game where you just enjoy the game for what it is. Ironically, I am showing footage of Fallout 76, which is an online multiplayer, but that's how much I love the Fallout series. Games like this will never get old. I love immersive sims. I love worlds that are alive and you could actually interact with the world and change the outcome, like games like Skyrim. Like Skyrim will be on that god tier list, but Skyrim is another monster in another box with a medieval RPG style. These games need to survive to the next generation. So Generation C and Generation Alpha could enjoy masterpieces like this. Unfortunately, immersive sims are dying more and more. And yes, guys, I have played Prey. I have played Prey. And I'm just gonna say I enjoy Prey, but it doesn't have elements like a world full of people that's alive. It's you're in a spaceship that's dead. Everybody's dead, you know. And yes, it has a map, and I would consider Prey to be more like Castlevania Symphony of the Night in 3D. Believe it or not, I consider Prey to be more of a Metrovania style game in 3D. But that's my own opinion. I like Dishonored above all. And of course, right after that, Deus Ex Machina and Deus Ex in general. Amazing masterclass games that will never be surpassed because I don't think anybody will try. But hopefully, one day I will be pleasantly surprised. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for joining me and listening to all this. I appreciate you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you, and I'll see you next time. Peace.